All right, so you want to be a scenic painter, huh? Well, today we're going to get you ready to totally crush that interview.
Yeah.
We're diving deep into all things scenic painting, and we've got some seriously awesome resources to help us out. We'll be using RoleCatcher's Career Guide and Interview Guide.
hmm
And we'll even sprinkle in some info about their AI tools, which I've got to say are pretty amazing.
Yeah, those AI tools are really something. They can really give your application a boost.
Absolutely. Now, I know you're probably thinking, okay, I get the basics of scenic painting, but let's talk about the interview itself,
Yeah.
because that's where the magic happens, right?
Right.
RoleCatcher's Interview Guide highlights 10 super common questions, and honestly, I think they're the perfect starting point.
Yeah, I agree. Those top 10 questions give us a fantastic framework to work with. And, even though each question is unique, there are some overall strategies that you can apply across the board.
Oh, that's a really good point. So before we even get into the specifics, what are some general tips for absolutely acing a scenic painter interview?
Well, one of the most important things is to showcase your genuine passion for the field. I mean, hiring managers, they really want to see that you're not just there for a paycheck.
All right,
They want to see that you're truly excited about the art, the craft, the whole world of scenic painting.
Yeah, definitely. But how do you actually convey that genuine passion, like without sounding, cheesy or rehearsed?
Yeah, that's the trick, right?
Right.
It's all about striking that balance between enthusiasm and professionalism.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Don't be afraid to let your personality shine through a bit, but always maintain a respectful and professional demeanor.
Gotcha. That makes a lot of sense. Now let's finally jump into those top 10 questions. The first one's a classic. How did you become interested in scenic painting?
Oh yeah, the origin story. This is your chance to take the interviewer on a journey.
Ooh, I like that. A journey.
Think about a specific experience that really sparked your interest and then weave it into a compelling narrative.
So instead of just saying, I've always loved art, we need to dig a little deeper, right? What would be a more impactful way to answer that question?
Okay, imagine this. You're interviewing for a company, and they're known for their super elaborate, fantastical sets. You could talk about how, as a kid, you were completely mesmerized by a production of, say, The Lion King,
Oh, yeah.
and how those intricate puppets and those vibrant colors, they just ignited this passion in you for bringing these imaginative worlds to life.
Oh, that's so much more memorable than just saying, I like art.
Right.
And it also shows that you've done your research on the company, which is awesome. Now, what if they follow up with something like, what was it about that specific production that really drew you in?
Ooh, good question. That's where you can get even more specific, talk about those technical aspects that really fascinated you.
Okay.
Maybe it was the way the lighting transformed the set or the textures, the details of the costumes, things like that.
This is already making me rethink how I would answer this question.
Oh,
Okay, let's move on to question number 2. What is your process for creating a scenic design?
okay. So with this one, they're really trying to get a glimpse into your workflow,
Mhm.
how you approach a project from start to finish.
Yeah.
And it's super important to highlight your organizational skills, your ability to break down a complex task into those manageable steps.
So even though it's a creative field, you can't just be like, inspiration strikes, and I just go with it.
Well, inspiration is definitely part of it, but showcasing that you have a structured approach that really demonstrates your professionalism
Hmm.
and your ability to work efficiently as part of a team.
Right, right. It's about that balance,
Yeah,
the artistic vision, but also a practical work ethic.
exactly.
So what are some key steps you'd recommend highlighting in your answer?
Well, you could start with the initial inspiration and research phase. Like, how do you gather ideas? How do you find reference materials? Then talk about how you translate those ideas into sketches, into renderings. Then discuss your process for selecting the materials and techniques based on the specific requirements of that project.
Yeah.
And finally, explain how you approach the actual painting and execution phase, making sure you have quality control and attention to detail throughout.
Wow, that's a really comprehensive approach. It shows that you're not just like a talented painter. You're a strategic thinker who can really manage a project from like concept to completion.
Exactly. And that's what hiring managers want to see. They need to know that they can trust you to deliver high quality work, all within the constraints of a production schedule.
Of course, of course. Now, what if they ask about specific software or techniques you use during the process? Like, what if they're super into digital design and want to know about your CAD skills?
Ah, yeah. You got to be prepared to discuss your experience with those relevant software programs, things like AutoCAD or Vectorworks. And even if you're not a CAD expert, you can still highlight your ability to interpret technical drawings and collaborate with designers who use those tools.
Oh, that's a good point. It's all about showcasing your adaptability and willingness to learn new skills.
Absolutely.
Now, speaking of learning and staying current, let's tackle question number 3. How do you stay up to date with the latest trends and techniques in scenic painting?
Okay, so this is where you get to show off your passion for continuous learning. Mention workshops you've attended, industry publications you follow, online communities you're a part of.
Oh, yeah.
And don't forget about social media. Following other scenic artists on platforms like Instagram, that can be a gold mine for seeing what they're working on, discovering new techniques and materials.
It's true. It's like a constant stream of inspiration and professional development, all right there at your fingertips. And it shows that you're actively engaged in, like, the evolving world of scenic painting.
Exactly. Hiring managers, they want to see that you're not content with just doing things the way they've always been done. You're curious, you're innovative, you're always seeking new ways to elevate your craft.
I love that. Okay, let's move on to question number 4. Can you describe a time when you had to work under a tight deadline?
Uh-oh, the dreaded deadline question. But don't worry, this is actually a great opportunity to shine. Choose a specific, compelling example that showcases how you handle pressure and deliver results.
So instead of just saying, I'm great under pressure, we need a real-life story.
Right. Exactly.
Like maybe a time when a set piece was damaged right before the show.
Perfect example. Walk them through how you assessed the damage, how you came up with the solution, how you rallied your team to fix it all in time for curtain call. And, here's a pro tip. Use those sensory details to make your story even more engaging.
Ooh, like what?
Like, were you mixing custom paint colors under flickering work lights? Was the scent of sawdust and paint thinner heavy in the air? Those details, they really bring your story to life.
I can practically feel the adrenaline rushing just thinking about it. It shows you can stay calm and focused, even under pressure. Okay, question number 5. How do you ensure that your work meets the artistic vision of the director?
All right, this one is all about collaboration and communication. Explain how you actively listen to the director's ideas, how you ask clarifying questions, and how you present your own interpretations for feedback. Remember, it's a partnership. Your role is to bring your technical expertise to the table while respecting the director's overall vision for the production.
Makes sense. But how do you handle it when your artistic vision, like, clashes with the director's? I mean, you're a talented artist with your own ideas, but ultimately you're there to serve the production.
That's a great question. And it's a situation that, honestly, a lot of scenic painters find themselves in. The key is to find that balance between advocating for your ideas and being flexible enough to adapt to the director's feedback.
Okay.
You could say something like, while I might approach a certain element differently, I'm always open to exploring new ideas and finding solutions that best serve the overall vision of the production.
Ooh, that's very diplomatic. It shows that you're confident in your abilities, but also respectful of that collaborative process. Now, what if they ask about a specific situation where you had to compromise or adapt your design?
Perfect. That's your chance to give them a concrete example that shows off your problem-solving skills and your ability to work effectively within a team. Think of a time when you had to make a significant change to your design based on feedback, maybe from the director or other members of the production team. And explain how you approached the situation, the steps you took, and, of course, the positive outcome.
It's amazing how these interview questions really highlight your soft skills. Communication, teamwork, adaptability, all the good stuff.
You're absolutely right. Technical skills are, of course, super important.
Yeah,
But those soft skills, those are what really set you apart as a valuable team member.
for sure. Okay, I'm totally ready to tackle the next set of questions. But before we do, can we quickly touch on something we mentioned earlier? RoleCatcher's AI tools. I know we'll dive deeper into those later, but can you give us a little sneak peek at how they can help with, like, interview prep specifically?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things RoleCatcher's AI does is analyze those job descriptions, and it pulls out the key skills and keywords that employers are looking for. You can then use that info to really tailor your answers to those specific job roles, making sure you're hitting all the right points.
Wow, that's like having a secret weapon.
It really is. It takes all the guesswork out of crafting those perfect answers.
It does. And it can give you a serious advantage in the job market. Okay, I'm definitely checking out those AI tools later. But for now, let's get back to those interview questions. We've got 4 more to cover, and I'm excited to hear your expert insights.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so let's pick up right where we left off with these interview questions. Question number 6 asks, can you describe a time when you had to problem solve on the job?
Ooh, yeah. This one feels a little tricky.
It can be. This question's all about showing off your resourcefulness,
Hmm.
and your ability to think on your feet. Like, let's say a shipment of very specific paint colors got delayed. Instead of just panicking,
Right.
you could talk about how you experimented with mixing the paints you did have
Oh, okay,
to
yeah.
try and create the desired shades, making sure that ultimately the show went on without a hitch.
I see, I see. So it's not just about identifying a problem. It's about showing how you actually found a solution, right?
Exactly. And, if they want more details, they might ask you about the specific challenges you faced during that problem-solving process.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And that's where you can really shine. Talk about the steps you took, the resources you used, the people you collaborated with. Maybe you consulted with other scenic artists or researched different techniques, maybe even reached out to suppliers for like an expedited delivery.
Oh, wow.
The point is to show that you're proactive and solution-oriented.
Makes a lot of sense. It's not just about having the answers. It's about being resourceful and persistent. Okay, let's move on to question number 7. What is your experience working with different types of paint and materials?
Okay.
This one seems pretty straightforward, but I'm guessing there's more to it than just listing a bunch of paint brands.
Yeah, you're right. It's not just about rattling off names. It's about showing that you have this deep knowledge of a whole range of materials and their unique properties. Mentioned acrylics, enamels, caseins, even those specialty scenic paints.
Oh,
We talked about textures, glazes, all the tools you use to create specific effects.
It's like painting a picture with words, literally. You're showcasing your understanding of how different materials behave and how to use them to get specific results.
Precisely. And this is where you can impress them.
Great.
Talk about any specialized techniques you've mastered, like aging or distressing, creating faux finishes.
Right.
Maybe you've experimented with like unconventional materials to get those unique textures or effects.
Yeah. That's a great way to stand out. It shows that you're not just following the rules, you're pushing the boundaries and trying new things. What if they ask about a specific material or technique that you haven't used before?
Honestly is always key.
Right.
Don't try to fake it. Instead, express that you're willing to learn and adapt. You could say, while I haven't worked with that specific material yet, I'm eager to expand my skill set and I'm confident I can quickly learn new techniques.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Shows you're open to new challenges and that you're a lifelong learner. Okay, question number 8. What is your experience working with computer-aided design software? This feels like it's becoming super important in scenic painting as technology evolves.
Oh, absolutely. CAD skills are in high demand these days, so be ready to talk about your experience with specific software programs like AutoCAD or Vectorworks.
Now, what if you're not a CAD expert? Is that like a deal breaker?
Not at all. Even if you haven't had tons of hands-on experience with CAD software, you can still highlight your understanding of how it's used in the design process.
Right. And your ability to collaborate with designers who use those tools effectively.
So it's about emphasizing those transferable skills, like, interpreting technical drawings and being able to translate a digital design into a physical reality.
Exactly. And if you have any experience with related software like Photoshop or Illustrator,
Oh, yeah.
mention that too. It all shows that you're digitally fluent and that you can adapt to different design platforms.
Okay, I'm making a note to brush up on my digital skills. Let's go to question number 9. Can you describe a time when you had to train or mentor a junior member of your team? I feel like this one's all about those leadership qualities.
Yeah, exactly. Think of a time when you helped a less experienced colleague. You maybe taught them a new technique or gave them feedback on their work, and really highlight your patience, your communication skills, and your ability to explain complex things in a way that's easy to understand.
So even if you haven't had a formal leadership role, you can still demonstrate those qualities through how you interact with your team. Absolutely. It's about showing you can guide and inspire others and create a positive and collaborative work environment.
Love that. Okay, last but definitely not least, question number 10. Can you describe a time when you had to work with a difficult personality on a production team? Ooh, this one sounds tricky. How do you answer this without, bad-mouthing someone.
Yeah, that's the key.
Yeah?
You want to show your conflict resolution skills and that you can stay professional, even in tough situations. So choose an example that really emphasizes your ability to stay calm, respectful, and focused on the task at hand.
Okay.
Instead of dwelling on the negativity of that personality clash, focus on what you did to resolve the situation and maintain a positive working relationship.
Right. Right.
Maybe you had a conversation to address the issues directly, or maybe you took a step back to observe the dynamics and figure out how to communicate and collaborate better.
This is all so helpful. I'm feeling way more confident about tackling these tough questions. But before we move on, can we talk more about RoleCatcher's AI tools?
Oh, yeah. Those AI tools can be a game changer for interview prep. One thing I love about RoleCatcher's platform is how it can analyze job descriptions and identify those key skills and keywords that employers are looking for.
Yeah, it's like having a cheat sheet for each job.
Mm.
You can really tailor your answers to fit the specific requirements, highlighting the most relevant parts of your experience.
Exactly. And RoleCatcher can even suggest phrases or keywords to use based on that job description. It's like having a career coach right in your pocket.
Wow. Okay, this is incredible. I'm definitely going to check those out. I think we've covered all 10 interview questions from RoleCatcher's guide.
Yep.
So what's next on our deep dive agenda?
Well, we've talked a lot about acing the interview, but let's zoom out for a minute and look at the bigger picture. What's your career path as a scenic painter?
Yeah, I'm curious about that. Like, what are the different stages of a scenic painting career? And what kind of opportunities are there to, grow or specialize in this field?
Let's get into it. Typically, you'd start in an entry-level position, maybe assisting more experienced painters, and gradually taking on more responsibility.
Kind of like an apprenticeship.
Exactly. Then, as you gain experience, you move up to a junior painter role, where you work more independently and handle a wider range of tasks.
And then eventually you become a senior scenic painter, leading teams and managing those more complex projects.
Exactly. And along the way, you have chances to specialize. You might focus on scenic painting or prop design, or even move into leadership roles like lead decorator or production manager.
Yeah.
RoleCatcher's career guide actually outlines all these paths and provides some great insights into the skills and experience you need to succeed at each level.
So it's like a roadmap for your scenic painting journey. That's really valuable. What are some of the most important factors for advancing in this career? Like, what makes a scenic painter really successful?
Never stop learning.
Okay, good one.
Attend workshops, stay up to date on the latest techniques and materials, maybe even get some certifications. And networking is huge. Building relationships with other artists, designers, and industry professionals opens doors to new opportunities and collaborations.
Yeah, those connections are so valuable. It's all about building a strong network and being an active part of the industry.
Yeah.
What about specializing within the field? RoleCatcher mentioned a few different areas, like, scenic painting versus prop design.
Right. So as you progress, you might find you're drawn to a certain area. Some scenic painters love specific styles like historical periods or fantasy.
Oh, cool.
Others focus on particular techniques like trompe-l'oeil or faux finishes. And some branch out into related areas like prop design or scenic construction.
That's so interesting. It's like a whole universe within scenic painting. There's so many possibilities.
Absolutely. And what's great is that this field's always evolving. New technologies, materials, design trends, it's always changing. So there's always room to be creative and innovative.
I love that. I'm excited about all the possibilities out there for a skilled scenic painter.
Me too. It's a really rewarding career for people who are passionate about the art and craft of transforming spaces and bringing stories to life.
Okay, we've covered a lot today, but I'm still curious to hear more about those AI tools. They sound like they could be really helpful, not just for the interview, but for the whole job search process.
They really can. RoleCatcher's AI tools offer a bunch of features designed to make your job search easier and more successful.
Okay, tell me more. I'm ready to dive deeper into this whole AI-powered job searching thing. So we've talked about how to nail that interview and map out your career as a scenic painter. But how do you actually show off your skills? I mean, a portfolio's got to be important, right?
Absolutely. It's like your visual resume, a collection of your best work that lets potential employers see your talent and versatility.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm picturing, like, photos of those gorgeous finished sets.
Right. Those are definitely important. But you can go beyond just that. Think about including sketches, renderings, maybe close-up shots that highlight specific techniques, textures you've mastered.
Ooh, process photos would be cool, too.
Exactly. It gives them a glimpse into your workflow, how you approach a project from start to finish. And don't forget about the story behind each piece. Talk about the challenges, the creative solutions, how your work impacted the production.
So it's not just about showing pretty pictures, it's about showing you can solve problems and make a vision a reality.
Exactly.
What if you haven't worked on a ton of professional productions yet? Can you still build a good portfolio?
Absolutely. Include personal projects, volunteer work, student productions. The key is to show a range of skills and styles and let your passion shine through.
Okay, cool. So even if you're just starting out, you can still make a strong impression. Speaking of impressions, let's circle back to those AI tools from RoleCatcher.
Yes.
We talked about them a bit earlier, but I want to hear more about how they can help with the job search.
RoleCatcher's AI has a whole bunch of features designed to streamline your job search and boost your chances of getting hired. For example, their AI can look at your resume and suggest improvements to make it more attractive to employers.
Whoa, it's like having your own personal resume writer.
Exactly. And it's not just about tweaking your resume, it can help tailor your cover letters to specific jobs, find those keywords and phrases that really stand out, and even suggest companies that might be a perfect fit for you.
Wow, that's so helpful. It takes all the guesswork out of it and lets you focus on the best opportunities. I am definitely checking these out. They sound like a game changer, especially for someone breaking into the scenic painting world.
I agree. They give you a real competitive edge. And you can sign up for a free account to start exploring right away. Doesn't matter where you are in your journey, RoleCatcher's got something to offer.
This has been such a great deep dive. We've covered so much, from what a scenic painter actually does, to those tricky interview questions, to the power of AI in your job search.
It's been awesome sharing all this with you and our listeners. Hopefully it's given aspiring scenic painters the tools and confidence to really go after their dreams.
Me too. Remember, preparation is key. Practice those interview questions, put together a fantastic portfolio, and definitely don't underestimate those AI tools from RoleCatcher. They can really help you stand out.
And most importantly, keep learning and growing as an artist. Embrace the challenges, celebrate the wins, and find joy in the creative process.
I love that. So go out there, future scenic painters, and make your mark on the world. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of scenic painting.
It was my pleasure. Happy painting, everyone.